Hey everybody, welcome to another episode. Today we are going to take a look inside of this very special 1970s hardtail Stratocaster, probably the best 70s Stratocaster I have ever played. A really cool guitar that I think is mostly original, so because of all of your comments and requests on the previous video on this guitar, we are going to take a look inside of it today and try to authenticate what we can, take a look at all the date codes on the pickups, the pots, and the date on the end of the neck here, and see if we can narrow down exactly what year this guitar is. It is going to be a little bit different than, say, like a 1950s Stratocaster like this 1959 here. So I'll go over what some of those differences might be if you're looking to maybe buy a 70s guitar. A lot of this carries over to Telecasters and other guitars as well. So let's go ahead and put it on the workbench and we will check this thing out. All right, here is our setup for the day. I'm gonna go ahead and take the neck off first. It'll make working on everything else a little bit easier so we can check out the codes there, and then we'll get into all the electronics. Now, for the few people who like to comment on this on the internet, I don't just go around taking old guitars apart for no reason. This guitar does have a refret, but the frets are played, so I need to do a level and dress and crown and polish all that, possibly cut a new nut for the guitar. And then some of the pots are scratchy, and who knows what I'll have to get into under the pick guard as well. So there is a reason for doing this today, as well as, you know, showing you guys what's inside of this thing. So I'm gonna cut the strings off because I'm gonna restring it as well. All right, here's the neck plate, serial number 558616. That dates the guitar right around 74, I believe. And there's the backside there. That's about what they look like after 50 or so years. Flipping it over here. Here's your micro tilt adjustment, and it's stamped R. Bush. Not sure who that is, not really familiar with that name, to be honest. And it's got another kind of quality control stamp there, but everything looks factory, no extra holes or anything weird going on. The date on the neck here is hard to see. So the neck dates on these guitars did change over the years. From the 50s into the early 60s, they were handwritten, and then Fender started using a stamp into the 60s, and that stamp changed into the late 60s and 70s into kind of a more complicated number system. Unfortunately, we're missing the first part of this code, which I believe to be like the guitar model, for instance, Telecaster, Stratocaster, and then also maybe some kind of batch number. But luckily we have the last 4 digits here, which are really important for dating the guitar. So it looks like 3624, which the 36 should be the week of whatever year, and then we have 2 for 1972. And the last digit is hard to make out. I would guess it's a 4 possibly, that's kind of misstamped almost, but that would mean the 4th day of the week. So that would mean this guitar is a late 1972 based on the neck date here. Now we can take a look at the body here and what's going on. If we zoom in, you can see the cavity for the neck, and we've got the paint stick line, which is what you want to see on these guitars. You've got your adjustment there, and some more codes or stamps, you know, quality control stamps possibly. It's kind of hard to make out any of that, but everything looks factory there. Pretty much tells you this guitar has not been refinished. This was the factory original color to the guitar. So let's go ahead and we'll check out the electronics. An interesting fact about these pick guards into the 70s, as you'll see, there's no truss rod cut out here like they added in the 1960s, because the truss rod adjustment is the bullet truss rod at the end of the neck here, so they no longer needed that cutout there like on the 60s guitars. All right, so I can tell you right off the bat, there is some touch-up going on with the solder. Some of these solder joints are not factory, and this pot right here is a replacement, this volume pot. But you know, I'll take it, original 3-way switch, however, and more importantly than the pots, the pickups are original. So let's take a look at these pickups actually. I'll pull one of these pickups out and we can take a look at them. All right, here's the neck pickup. So the first thing you'll notice is these are gray bobbins. They came out with these in the 1960s and carried them into the 70s. They also went to this plastic covered wiring as well into the late 60s into the 70s. But this one has a stamp on it, 18973. I'm not totally familiar with what the 189 means, but obviously 73 for 1973. So the neck appears to be a 72, and these pickups all appear to be matching 1973 pickups. So if we open it up here, you can see this pickup has enamel type wiring. Then this is the original pickup cover, and you can see inside there's these little circular stamps. It's some kind of marking from how they're manufactured, you know, but it shows you this is the original pickup cover. So while we're in here, we might as well get a reading on all these pickups. I know people like to see that. All right, so since we've got the guitar open here, we can go ahead and go straight to the pickup for the readings. The neck pickup reads 5.65 just about. The middle 5.66, and the bridge pickup 5.02. Yeah, just about. That's pretty unusual actually, to have a pickup reading in the 5K range, low 5K, but it's not these other pickups. That's pretty standard, 5.6K. That's about what a lot of vintage pickups read. So let's move on to the pots here, see if we can date these pots even though they are covered in solder and grease and whatnot. So these are 250K pots. It looks like there is a 74 date code on this pot, which is not completely unusual. I would say especially during a transitional time period that you would see late 72 neck, 73 pickups with 74 pots. But this is not completely unusual. Fender going to the 3-bolt design and all the changes going on at Fender. So we have a late 72 neck, 73 pickups with 74 pots. So we can also take a look inside here at the cavities, and I'll show you some details that would be important for dating a guitar or authenticating a vintage Stratocaster. So I believe it was back in the late 60s into the early 70s, Fender went to this kind of wider, more angular pickup route. And so this is obviously a clear sign that you have a 70s guitar. We have the worm route here in this cavity. And then you also have these router marks, which come from the machine that would route out these bodies. Those are pretty much identical to the 50s and 60s guitars. So going for all decades of the Strat, 50s, 60s, and 70s, you want to see these router marks. That definitely gives you a clue as to the authenticity of the guitar. And then you can also see another one here in the control cavity. So I need to clean up some of this wiring and get this thing put back together, as well as go ahead and level and crown and polish the frets and see how this thing plays and sounds after that. So I'm gonna get to work, and we'll check in a bit. All right, so I'm gonna get this guitar back together, get it playing and sounding right. And if you guys want to help support, if you enjoy these videos, the best thing you can do is just comment on the videos and share them. And I am really blown away by how you guys consistently seem to do that. So thank you so much, and I'll keep putting out the videos. I'll be working on this guitar for the next couple days to get it right. So that's it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.